Oh, and welcome to another episode of Diary of a Gold Coin Dealer. There's a lot to talk about in this episode. This is the weekly, sometimes sporadic Diary of a Gold Coin Dealer where I talk about how my week has gone, or what's gone right and what's gone wrong. It's been a comedy of errors, but it's also been a fantastic month in terms of buying. I've done incredibly well. I've certainly kept the walls from the door, and I've probably hit all my key metrics that I was kind of aiming for. To kind of give you an insight into just how busy it has been my end. And you can tell it's busy because I was planning to put out a couple of educational videos. I haven't done them. And I do this all the time. Like, I'm going to put out an educational video, and then bam, stocks come in, an auction's come up, or I've got to deal with a client or a few clients, and it doesn't happen. You'll see more after Christmas, but I'll get into it. So to give you an insight of how busy I've been, so this month, once I've settled what I owe and I add that to what I've already spent, I'm looking at an £85,000 month in terms of buying. It's not selling, just buying. I'm probably matching that now. I can actually tell you. So I'm slightly under. So as it stands, I've probably done about 110 in buying and selling. But it's going to be 85 in buying by the end. Let's call it 10k under 75. It'd be about 160k in terms of turnaround for the month. That is an obscene amount. Now, to put it in perspective, I like to be around the 50k mark per month. I think that's enough to kind of chill out and do it at a leisurely pace. That sounds crazy to some people. Like, 50k is a lot of money. Not really. Like, when you're dealing with stuff like this, 50k is 25 of these. That's like one order a day. It's not a lot. So you got to think about it in a relative sense. Now, if I'm selling 50k worth of, say, got one of these on my desk because it's cool. These are 20 quid a pop. Well, I've been selling them for 16, but let's call it 20. It's a lot. You'll run ragged. You'll absolutely run ragged. So it is relative. But I aim for 50k a month. Last month I did 62, month before 76, 63, 29, 63, 37 and a half, 62, 45, 58, 54 essentially. That's been my year. I'm pretty sure that would average around 50k a month. I wouldn't be shocked. I've got some outliers both ends, the 37 and the 29. Then I got the 76 and this month, which will be around 85. So I haven't had a month this busy in terms of output for 18 months. I did 2 months in a row where I bought, traded over 100k a month for 2 months in a row. And that was right before I got sick. I remember it vividly because I just thought, I can't do this anymore. Poof, I was out for a long time. You live and learn. Don't walk the same steps I walk, guys. It's not pretty. Although saying that, I go to the gym pretty much 3-4 times a week. I think I'm there or thereabouts. Now you may be asking, if you bought so much, what have you spent it on? A bit of everything. I was at an auction, and this is a. Let's just say I made a monumental error, although it's an error that maybe I shouldn't have known about. So what happened with the gentleman in Glasgow? He's not from Glasgow, but I call him Glasgow Gentleman because it's just simpler. I was meant to purchase 40k worth of stock from him. I had it all lined up. I had the money. And then I couldn't go for obvious reasons. It just didn't really work out. So I thought, I don't want my money to be idle. I want it to be working for me. So what action can I make? I saw an auction. I thought, they got some tasty bits coming up. So I just bid on everything, absolutely everything. Sat there for, it must have been from 10 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon, like a proper day's work, like something I haven't done in a long time. Not like that anyway. Like bid. I ended up winning 22 lots. It was an incredibly frustrating day, especially on silver. The annoying thing was I got the day wrong, so I had to prep to the early hours of the morning. So I win, I get the invoice for it. It comes through as 22 separate invoices, and I'm thinking, that's a bit strange. So I was like, okay, I'll pay these off one by one. And I looked into the terms and conditions, and they don't do group posting. They don't have a in-house postage service, which I thought was absolutely nuts. So I was like, okay, how much is the postage? And it would have been over 600 quid just to post my stock. And I thought, I'm in trouble here. What have you done? So I said to my mate, I was like, look, I've made an error. Can you help me out? Usual terms. He went, yeah. He got back to me. He's like, okay, I'll help you out. I feel really bad because it's day off, but I'll buy him some. We're meant to be going out in the evening. I'll just sort out the drinks. It's not a problem. It is my error. Was I to know? I did speak to the auction house today, and I said, well, it's a bit prohibitive. I can't ship it. Like, why are you doing shipping per item? It turns out this auctioneer is owned by like a head company, and they've got dozens of auctions all over Europe, and they've got a central system. And when I think about it, that actually works if you're buying, say, fine art. You want it done individually. It's not a problem. It doesn't work with coins. With coins, it's so cost prohibitive. If you're sitting there and winning auction lots off them, and you're actually from that area, I think you'd probably make a lot of money from that auction. I think the seller will lose. It was 30% fees on that auction as well. That's the highest I've ever bid. Now that doesn't matter to me because I have a price. That's what something's worth. I just got to get it under. It doesn't matter what the fees are. If the fees are 0% or 30%, as long as I get it underneath the price, then fine. Now I calculated there's probably £700 to £900 worth of profit. I'm going to lose a couple hundred quid just travelling there. It's not great, but it helps me towards my end goal. It gives me a bit of margin. It allows me to move postage. Happy days. I'm not happy with myself. It's a lesson learned. I've got to go pick it up. My friend's got to give me a lift to pick it up. It's one of those things. So you live and learn. I also bought another 100. I've got that in the pipeline. Another 100 1 gram bars. I've been linking up with another dealer and just using his network. And I just said, look, I just want it for postage. If I make a couple of quid per item, fair enough. He's also sold me 540 1-ounce copper rounds. You may be thinking, why have you done that? If I can squeeze £1 out a round, I paid £2.75 a round. The bottom line is £3 a round. They will go at £3. They go relatively easy, but if I can squeeze a bit more. And there was a gentleman who messaged me today, and he just said, I'm looking to sell some bits, so I've got some gold and some silver coming in. It's been relatively good all round on the buy front. I just need to sell it, move the postage, and I'm fine. It's not a problem. I always like to talk about the price of gold. I never touch on silver. I'm not really that bothered about talking about the silver price. It is what it is. But in terms of gold, it's been so erratic of late. It jumped up and now it dropped down. It's jumped up again, and we've hit all-time highs, and it's dropped down again. I do think the baseline is 2-1. I think it will go higher. I do think it will go higher in the medium term, but I think the baseline is 2-1. It needs to build and go again. Now, it's getting to the point where I sold this to a friend of mine. So this coming from the gentleman from Glasgow. There was a post online about this actually. Fake pant bar. It deceived a Sigma machine. A lot of people I know who are professionals, they don't rate the Sigma. They want the XRF. The XRF had it in at, I think it's 565 gold, 56.5% gold, or something like that. I can't remember the exact reading. So I went to list it on the groups, and it, for obvious reasons, people were like, I was like, well, I've scanned it on the Veriscan, but also to go back to what I've said many, many times over the years, any dealer worth their weight in salt can look at something and know if it's the real deal or not. If it looks a bit off, you then do the other tests. Does it weigh right? Are the dimensions right? There's two ways to kind of fake these bars. You've got the tungsten method, which is prohibitive, and you've got the copper method, which makes it too thick. We don't need a £1,000 machine to know that. I know there's people who are worried about their investments, but I don't understand the logic of buying a £1,000 machine instead of just paying an extra 10, 20 quid from someone like Atkinson's or Chard's or anyone with an XRF who buys from primary source. I'm not going to name myself an Axe. I don't buy from the primary source, But if you're that worried, buy from a dealer who is linked up with a primary source. Why spend all that money on something that may actually get it wrong? I'm not saying it's a bad machine. I think it is a good machine for most things, but it's not foolproof. And I think the XRF is far supreme. But that's what you expect from a machine that's 10 times the price. So you get what you pay for, I guess. I hope you've enjoyed the video. It's been slightly longer than I had planned. If anyone does want to support me, watch a video, watch an advert. Sorry, it allows me to indulge in my instant coffee addiction. I need a coffee. £5 a month will allow this poor dealer to buy a coffee machine that works. Jokes aside, I hope you have a wonderful week.